Fire was everywhere. It painted the night sky in bright, angry colors of orange and red. The heat was terrible. It made the air too thick to breathe. "Don't die on me," a voice begged. It was Maya's voice. Her hands were covered in cuts and wet with blood. She gripped the collar of a heavy leather jacket. The car was upside down, the metal crushed like a tin can. The smell of leaking gas was sharp and scary. Flames reached out and grabbed her right arm. The fire burned her skin, sending a blinding, screaming pain through her whole body. But Maya did not let go. She planted her feet on the broken road. She pulled with every ounce of strength she had left in her body. She dragged the heavy, unconscious man out of the smoking car. She pulled him onto the wet grass just in time. Behind them, the car's gas tank blew up. A massive wall of fire and noise pushed her forward. She threw her body over his to protect him. Then, everything went black. The present. Smack. A heavy stack of papers hit the glass desk. The loud noise broke the memory. The heat and the fire vanished. Maya was back in the real world. She was sitting in the cold, quiet office on the 40th floor of Sterling Enterprises. Liam Sterling stood right in front of her. He looked perfect. He wore a dark, expensive suit. His face was sharp, and his gray eyes were entirely focused on business. "I need these reports typed up before lunch," Liam said. His voice was deep and bossy. "And cancel my meeting with the bank." "Right away, Mr. Sterling," Maya said. Her voice was calm and smooth. She did not look down at her right arm. She kept it safely hidden under the thick, long sleeve of her dark blue shirt. She was his assistant. She was invisible. Her job was to make his life easy, and she did it perfectly. Before Liam could even ask, Maya picked up a warm coffee mug and held it out to him. "Black coffee. 2 extra shots." "Exactly how you like it," she said softly. Liam stopped. He reached out and took the mug. As he did, his large hand brushed against Maya's fingers. The touch was tiny, but it felt like an electric shock. Liam froze. For just 1 second, the tough, strict boss disappeared. He looked down at Maya's hand, and then he looked up into her eyes. The air between them suddenly felt very heavy. The loud office around them seemed to go totally quiet. Maya felt her heart beat faster in her chest. She saw the same feeling reflecting in his gray eyes. It was always there, a quiet, secret attraction that they never talked about. Liam swallowed hard. He looked at her lips for a second. Then he quickly pulled his hand back. He put his strong walls back up. "You always know exactly what I need, Maya," he said. His voice was a little softer this time. Then he cleared his throat and stepped back. "Also, clear my schedule for 2 o'clock. I am going to make an announcement to the management team." Maya put her hands on her keyboard. "An announcement? What should I tell them?" Liam looked out the large window. He refused to look at her. "Tell them I am getting married." The words hit Maya like a punch to the stomach. She stopped breathing. The room started to spin. "Married?" she whispered. She tried very hard to keep her voice from shaking. "Yes," Liam said, turning back to face her. His face showed zero emotion. "To Vanessa. She is moving into my house this weekend." Maya's throat felt dry and scratchy. Vanessa. The woman who had found them on the side of the road after the crash. The woman who had taken all the credit. That night, Maya had been so scared of her own past, and in so much pain, that she hid in the dark. Vanessa stepped into the light. Vanessa played the hero. Now Vanessa was getting Liam. "Congratulations, sir," Maya said blindly. "I will set up the meeting room." The visit. By early afternoon, the whole office knew the big news. At 1 o'clock, the elevator doors opened, and the problem arrived. Vanessa walked into the office. She wore a beautiful white dress and a bright, perfect smile. She looked like a sweet angel. But Maya knew she was cruel. "Liam, honey," Vanessa called out. She walked right past Maya without even looking at her. Liam walked out of his office. Vanessa threw her arms around him and kissed him. Liam held her, but his eyes quickly looked over her shoulder. He looked straight at Maya. "Vanessa," Liam said. "What are you doing here?" "I wanted to surprise my fiancé," she smiled. Finally, she turned and looked at Maya. "Oh, hi Maya." Still sitting at the exact same desk. "You are just so helpful. Like a good robot." Liam frowned. "Vanessa. Please." "Oh, I am only joking, Liam," Vanessa laughed. She patted his chest. Then, Vanessa walked over to Maya's desk. She leaned in close. The smell of her sweet perfume was too strong. Vanessa pretended to look at a pen on the desk, but she leaned down and whispered into Maya's ear. "Stop looking at him like that," Vanessa whispered. Her voice was mean and cold. "He is mine. I wear the big ring." If you try to ruin this for me, I will make sure you get fired. You will have nothing. Maya held her hands tightly together under the desk. She kept her face completely blank. I will call a car for you, Miss Kensington. Before you leave, Liam said, walking over to them. I want the managers to see you. Let's go to the lounge. The lie. Maya had to follow them. She stood in the back of the room with her tablet, ready to take notes. She had to watch as all the rich managers smiled and shook Vanessa's hand. That is a huge diamond, one manager laughed. We thought you only loved your work, Liam. Liam smiled. He held Vanessa's hand. Life is short, Liam told the room. I learned that a few years ago. I would be dead today if it wasn't for Vanessa. Maya felt sick. Her chest felt tight. Please stop talking, she thought. Please. I don't tell this story often, Liam said. The whole room got very quiet. He was looking at Vanessa, but he was talking to everyone. I was trapped in my car. The metal was crushed. The fire was so hot it was melting the dashboard. I could not move my legs. I was sure I was going to die. Maya closed her eyes. She squeezed her tablet so hard her fingers hurt. The memory of the smoke and the burning metal rushed back into her mind. But then, Liam said softly, she reached into the fire. She grabbed me. I have no idea how she was strong enough. But she pulled me out. She saved my life. He leaned over and kissed Vanessa's head. I owe her my whole life. Vanessa looked down, acting shy and sweet. I just did what anyone would do, Liam. Maya could not breathe. It was not fair. It was a massive lie. The man she secretly loved was giving his heart to a liar. He was thanking Vanessa for the pain Maya went through. A hot tear fell down Maya's face. She wiped it away fast. She had to get out of that room. The breaking point. Maya walked quickly down the hall. She hid in the small employee kitchen. The room was empty. She leaned over the counter and took deep breaths. She turned on the hot water machine to make some tea. She needed something warm to calm her shaking hands. That was a really great story, wasn't it? Maya jumped. Vanessa stood in the doorway. The sweet smile was gone. She looked angry and mean. I need to get back to my desk, Maya said. She picked up her heavy mug of hot water. Vanessa stepped forward and blocked the way. I see the way you look at him. And I see how he looks at you when I am not around. But let's be clear, assistant. I am the hero. I wear the ring. You are just the help. Excuse me, Maya said. She tried to step around her. Oops, Vanessa said. Vanessa swung her heavy purse on purpose. It hit Maya's arm hard. The mug slipped out of Maya's hands. It hit the floor and broke into pieces. Boiling hot water splashed directly onto Maya's right arm. The pain was fast and terrible. But the heat did something worse. It tricked her brain. The burning water felt exactly like the fire from the car crash. Ah! Maya screamed. It was a loud, scary sound of pure panic. She fell to her knees. She was not in the office anymore. Her mind was back in the burning car. Oh my, I am so clumsy, Vanessa laughed cruelly. Maya could not think. The wet shirt was sticking to her skin, burning her scars all over again. She had to get the hot cloth off. She panicked. She grabbed the bottom of her sleeve. She pulled hard, ripping the button right off. She shoved the sleeve all the way up past her elbow. The bright kitchen lights shined down on her bare arm. The scars were huge and ugly. Thick pink, burned skin covered her entire arm from her wrist up to her elbow. It was the undeniable proof of someone who had survived a terrible fire. Suddenly, loud footsteps ran down the hallway. Maya! I heard something break. Liam ran into the kitchen. He stopped in his tracks. The room went dead silent. Liam looked at the broken cup on the floor. He looked at Vanessa's mean smile. Then he looked down at Maya. She was on her knees, crying and shaking. Liam's eyes dropped down to her bare arm. Maya froze. Her heart stopped. She slowly looked up at Liam's face. The tough, bossy look was completely gone. His gray eyes were wide with shock. He stared at the terrible burned scars. He stared at the proof. And slowly, a look of total shock and realization spread across his face. The air in the small kitchen was dead and heavy. Liam stared at Maya's right arm. He stared at the thick, raised lines of scarred pink skin. His gray eyes were wide, filled with a sudden, confusing shock. He took a slow step toward her. Panic hit Maya like a wave of cold water. She had hidden her secret for 3 years, and now it was out in the open. Don't look, she choked out. Her shaking hands grabbed the torn wet silk of her sleeve. She yanked the wet fabric violently back down over her arm, hiding the burns from his eyes. She tried to stand up, but her knees were weak. She stumbled forward. Maya, wait, Liam said. He dropped to his knees right in front of her. He reached out to steady her. His large, warm hands gently grabbed her bare wrists. The moment his skin touched hers, a sharp, invisible spark shocked them both. It was not a static shock. It was a deep electric pull. The heat traveled straight up Maya's arm and settled directly in her chest. Liam gasped softly. He looked down at his hands holding her wrists. He felt the exact same spark. It was a powerful magnetic pull that made his heart race. He slowly looked up into Maya's brown eyes. For 3 years he had felt this strange gravity between them. Now, touching her, it was impossible to ignore. He thought about Vanessa. Whenever he held Vanessa, he felt nothing. No spark. No heat. Just duty. But with his quiet, invisible assistant, his blood felt like it was on fire. Liam, she just dropped a cup, Vanessa snapped from the doorway. She crossed her arms, her face twisting with jealousy. Stop babying her. Her arm is fine. Liam blinked, the spell breaking. He let go of Maya's wrists, though his hands still tingled. Maya quickly scrambled to her feet. She kept her head down, avoiding his intense stare. Ms. Kensington is right. I am perfectly fine, sir. Excuse me. She ran past Vanessa and fled down the hallway, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. 2 days later, the quiet office felt like a circus. Liam and Vanessa were having their official engagement photo shoot. They set up the cameras in the massive glass penthouse on the top floor of the building. Maya was forced to be there. It was part of her job. She stood quietly in the dark corner of the room. She held Vanessa's expensive fur coat over one arm and a tray of cold coffees in her other hand. She felt completely miserable. In the center of the room, bright lights flashed. Vanessa wore a stunning, tight red dress. She threw her arms around Liam's neck and kissed his cheek. She laughed loudly for the cameras. She looked like a perfect model. Liam stood straight and tall in his dark suit. He smiled for the photographer, but Maya could see the truth. His smile was fake. His gray eyes looked tired and empty. He looked like a man doing a job, not a man in love. Perfect. Now give me a close-up of the happy couple, the photographer shouted. Vanessa leaned her head against Liam's chest. As she moved, the bright studio lights caught something shiny around her neck. Maya narrowed her eyes. She stepped a little closer to the bright lights. It was a silver necklace. But not just any necklace. Hanging from the silver chain was a small, heavy locket shaped like a teardrop. In the center of the silver teardrop was a tiny, deeply scratched picture of a rose. Maya stopped breathing. The tray of coffees shook in her hands. It was her locket. Her mother had given her that exact necklace before she died. Maya had worn it every single day of her life. She was wearing it on the night of the fiery car crash. When she used all her strength to pull Liam out of the burning car, the heavy leather of his jacket had caught the chain. The necklace was ripped from her neck and lost in the dark grass by the road. Maya had thought it was gone forever, burned in the fire. But it wasn't burned. Vanessa had it. That is a very unique piece of jewelry, Liam said softly, looking down at Vanessa's chest while the photographer adjusted the lights. Maya froze in the corner, straining to hear them. Liam gently touched the silver teardrop with his finger. I don't think I have ever seen you wear this before. Where did you get it? Vanessa's perfect smile dropped for a split second. Her eyes darted around the room nervously. She quickly covered the locket with her hand. Oh, this old thing? Vanessa stammered, her voice a little too high. It is, a family heirloom. Yes. My grandmother gave it to me a long time ago. I just found it in my jewelry box today. Liam frowned slightly, looking at the deep scratch across the silver rose. It looks like it has been through a lot. It's just old, darling. Vanessa laughed quickly. She pulled his face back toward the camera. Now, smile for the picture. In the corner of the room, Maya's profound sadness slowly turned into a cold, hard anger. Vanessa had not just stolen the credit for saving Liam's life. She had actually been at the crash site while Maya was hiding in the shadows. Vanessa had found Maya's precious necklace in the grass and kept it for herself. She was wearing Maya's history like a cheap trophy. By Wednesday evening, the sky over the city turned a bruised, angry purple. It was 9 o'clock at night. The huge office building was completely empty, except for Liam and Maya. They were working late in his private office, trying to finish the merger paperwork before the wedding. Outside the thick glass windows, heavy rain pounded against the building. The wind howled loudly. Suddenly, a bright flash of lightning tore across the sky. 2 seconds later, a massive crack of thunder shook the entire floor. The loud boom vibrated deep in Maya's chest. Liam flinched violently. He dropped his pen. He hated storms. The sudden flashes of bright light and the loud, booming noises always dragged his mind right back to the night of the crash. It sounded exactly like exploding metal and roaring fire. He rubbed his temples, breathing a little too fast. "Are you all right, sir?" Maya asked quietly from her small table in the corner. "I'm fine," Liam lied, his voice tight. "Just keep working." Ing! Another jagged bolt of lightning flashed. Instantly, an explosive crash of thunder hit the building. With a loud pop, every single light in the office died. The computer screens went black. The low hum of the air conditioning stopped. They were plunged into absolute pitch blackness. In the heavy silence, Maya heard a chair scrape loudly against the floor. She heard Liam gasp for air. It was a wet, ragged sound of pure panic. "Liam!" Maya called out into the dark. She dropped the formal "sir" without thinking. I can't breathe," Liam choked out. The darkness was suffocating him. His brain was playing cruel tricks. He wasn't in his office anymore. He was trapped upside down in his crushed car. The smell of smoke was in his nose. The heat was closing in on him. He was trapped, and he was ing to die. Maya did not hesitate. She used the edge of the desk to guide herself through the black room. She found him sitting on the floor, his back pressed hard against the wall, pulling at the collar of his shirt. Maya dropped to her knees beside him. She reached out in the dark and grabbed his shaking hands. She held them tightly. "Hey," Maya whispered. Her voice was strong, calm, and deeply soothing. She leaned in close to him. She didn't think about her words. She just spoke from the deepest part of her memory. She used the exact same words she had used 3 years ago when she pulled him from the flames. "Focus on my voice," Maya ordered softly, rubbing her thumbs over his knuckles. "Follow my breathing. In and out. You are not trapped anymore. I have you. I am not going to let you go." Liam's frantic breathing hitched. His whole body went completely still. "You are not trapped anymore. I have you. I am not going to let you go." He knew that voice. He knew those exact words. They had echoed in his nightmares and his dreams every single night for 3 years. It was the voice of the angel in the fire. Suddenly, the emergency backup generators kicked in. The lights snapped back on, bathing the office in a pale yellow glow. Maya blinked against the sudden light. She looked down and realized she was still holding his hands tightly against her chest. She gasped in quick. Ly tried to pull away, but Liam held on. He gripped her hands firmly, refusing to let her go. He stared at her face. His chest was still rising and falling heavily, but the panic was gone. It was replaced by a massive, earth-shattering realization. He looked into her deep brown eyes, searching her soul. "Where did you learn to say that?" he whispered, his voice trembling. The memory of the dark office and the silver locket hung heavy in the air. Liam stared down at Maya. He was searching for a confession in her brown eyes. His heart was beating entirely too fast. For 3 years he had believed Vanessa was his savior. But the soothing words in the dark, the burning spark when they touched, and the name scratched into the silver locket all pointed to the quiet woman standing right in front of him. Maya panicked. The truth was right there, sitting on the edge of her tongue. But a cold, terrifying fear grabbed her throat. "It is a coincidence," Maya lied quickly. She took a large step backward, putting distance between them. Her voice shook, but she forced herself to sound normal. "Maya is a very common name, sir. Maybe it was her grandmother's name, too. And the words I said in the dark, it is just a common phrase. I read it in a book about panic attacks." Liam froze. The warm, vulnerable light in his gray eyes vanished instantly. He felt like a complete fool. He had let his imagination run wild. He had opened up his deepest, darkest fears to his assistant. He had wanted to believe there was a deeper connection between them, but she was looking at him like he was crazy. A thick, icy wall slammed down over Liam's face. He stood up completely straight, buttoning his expensive suit jacket. His jaw locked into a hard line. "Of course," Liam said. His voice was freezing cold, devoid of any emotion. He tossed the silver locket back onto Vanessa's desk. "It was a mistake to ask. Do not ever overstep your boundaries like that again, Maya. You are here to answer phones and organize files. Nothing more." He turned his back on her and walked away. Maya stood entirely alone in the empty office, her chest aching with a fresh, sharp pain. She had pushed him away to protect her secret, but breaking his heart was breaking her own. The next morning, the temperature in the office dropped even further. Eleanor Sterling had arrived. Liam's mother was a terrifying woman. She wore sharp, expensive suits and a permanent, cruel frown. She walked through the executive floor like a queen inspecting her peasants. Everyone was deeply afraid of her, including the senior managers. At 11 o'clock, Maya slipped into the women's restroom. She needed a moment of peace. She turned on the sink and splashed cold water on her tired face. She looked at her reflection. There were dark circles under her eyes. She was exhausted from carrying the heavy weight of her lies. The heavy restroom door clicked shut. The deadbolt locked with a loud, echoing snap. Maya looked up into the mirror. Eleanor Sterling was standing right behind her. "You are getting sloppy, Maya," Eleanor said softly. Her voice sounded like poisoned honey. Maya froze. She grabbed a paper towel and turned around slowly. "Mrs. Sterling, I do not know what you mean." Eleanor took a slow step forward. Her sharp high heels clicked loudly against the tile floor. "I saw the way my son looked at you yesterday. I saw him holding that cheap silver necklace. Do you think I am stupid? Do you think I don't know exactly what you are doing?" Maya gripped the edge of the cold sink. "I am just doing my job as his assistant." "Your job is to be quiet," Eleanor hissed. The polite, rich smile dropped from her face, revealing the monster underneath. 3 years ago, you signed a non-disclosure agreement. A very strict, very illegal contract. I paid you $5 million to walk away from that hospital bed and let Vanessa take all the credit. Maya felt entirely sick. The dark memory of that hospital room made her dizzy. She had been in so much pain, her arm wrapped in thick white bandages. Eleanor had stood over her bed, waving a massive check. Eleanor had coldly explained that a poor girl with burn scars would ruin Liam's perfect public image. She needed a hero with a good family name, like Vanessa. "I have never told him," Maya whispered, her voice shaking violently. "I kept my promise." "See that you do," Eleanor warned. She stepped so close that Maya could smell her bitter perfume. "Because if Liam ever finds out the truth, the money stops today. And we both know your little brother needs his weekly hospital treatments. His life depends on my money. If you try to play the hero now, your brother dies. Do you understand me?" A single, hot tear fell down Maya's cheek. She hated herself for being weak, but she loved her sick brother more than anything in the world. He was her only family. "Yes," Maya cried softly. "I understand." Eleanor smiled warmly, gently patting Maya's wet cheek like a good pet. "Good girl. The wedding is in 2 weeks. Make sure it goes perfectly." Eleanor unlocked the door and walked out. Maya collapsed against the cold bathroom tiles. She covered her mouth with both hands to muffle her deep, painful sobs. It was completely hopeless. The game was totally rigged. She could never have Liam, and she could never tell him the truth. She stood up and wiped her red eyes. She looked at her reflection in the mirror and made a final, heartbreaking decision. She would stay for 2 more weeks. She would do her job. She would make sure Liam's wedding was perfect. And the exact morning after he married Vanessa, Maya would quit. She would take her brother and move far away from the city. It was the only way to protect her heart and keep her brother alive. By Friday afternoon, Maya was back at her glass desk, burying her deep sadness in her work. Vanessa had dropped off a shiny pink USB drive earlier that morning. "Print out the seating charts for the wedding reception, assistant," Vanessa had sneered before walking out to get a massage. Maya plugged the pink USB drive into her computer. A folder popped up on the screen labeled Wedding Plans. Maya opened the folder. Inside were hundreds of pictures of expensive white flowers, tall cakes, and fancy dresses. But as she scrolled down to find the guest list, she noticed something very strange. At the very bottom of the folder was a hidden, locked computer file. It was named personal_V. Maya paused. Her hand hovered over the computer mouse. She knew she shouldn't click it, but her instincts were screaming loudly. Vanessa was a liar and a thief. What else was she hiding on this drive? Maya right-clicked the locked file. A small box popped up, asking for a password. Maya thought for a second. Vanessa was vain and selfish. Maya typed in Vanessa 1. Access denied. Maya tried again. She typed in Liam's birthday. Access denied. Then, Maya remembered the exact date of the car crash. The dark day Vanessa stole Liam's life. She quickly typed the numbers. 0824. The computer beeped. The folder unlocked. Maya's breath caught hard in her throat. The file was not about the wedding. It was not about dresses or cakes at all. The folder was full of highly confidential technical blueprints. Maya recognized the complicated drawings instantly. It was Project Apex, Liam's newest, most secret technology design. The project was worth billions of dollars. Liam kept these specific files on a secure, offline server in his private office. No one was allowed to see them. But Vanessa had them. She had downloaded them onto her personal wedding drive. Maya clicked on the most recent text document. It was an email draft. It was addressed to the CEO of a rival tech company. The final prototypes are attached. Wire the $5 million to my offshore account by Friday. I will have the rest of Sterling's network passwords by the time I marry him next week. Maya's blood ran completely cold. The horrible realization hit her like a speeding train. Vanessa was not just a fake hero. She was not just a terrible person marrying for money. Vanessa was a corporate spy. She was planning to destroy Liam's entire company and steal his life's work. Maya grabbed her computer mouse. Her hands were shaking wildly. She needed to copy the files right now. She needed hard proof to show Liam before it was too late. She quickly opened a blank folder on her desktop and started dragging the stolen blueprints over. Copying. 10%. 30%. Suddenly, a cold, sharp hand slammed down hard on Maya's shoulder. Maya gasped loudly and froze in her chair. What exactly are you looking at, Maya? Vanessa's voice whispered directly into her ear. It was soft, dark, and full of pure, deadly poison. The copying bar on the computer screen moved painfully slowly. 30%. 40%. Vanessa's hand gripped Maya's shoulder like a metal claw. Before Maya could even speak, Vanessa opened her mouth and screamed. It was a loud, piercing, terrifying shriek that echoed across the entire empty floor. Liam! Help! Help me! Maya tried to click the mouse, but Vanessa snatched it away. With a lightning-fast motion, Vanessa pressed a hidden button on the side of the pink USB drive and yanked it out of the computer. The screen flashed black for a second. The heavy oak doors of Liam's office flew open. Liam rushed out, his face pale with panic. Vanessa! What's wrong? He shouted, running toward the desks. Vanessa burst into loud, fake tears. She ran into Liam's arms and buried her face in his chest. She is trying to ruin us, Liam. I caught her. Maya is stealing from your computer. She was downloading the blueprints for Project Apex. Maya jumped up from her chair. Her heart hammered against her ribs. No, sir, that is a lie. She is a corporate spy. The blueprints were hidden on her pink USB drive. She is planning to sell them to your rival company. Vanessa sobbed louder, clinging to Liam's suit. She hates me, Liam. She is so jealous of our wedding. She hates seeing us happy, so she is trying to destroy your life's work. Liam gently pushed Vanessa behind him to protect her. He glared at Maya. Give me the drive. Maya pointed a shaking finger at Vanessa's hand. She has it. I was trying to copy the files to show you the proof. Please, Liam, just look at it. Liam held out his hand. Vanessa gave him the pink USB drive, sniffing loudly. Liam plugged it directly into his own laptop. He opened the folders. He searched every single file. Nothing. There were only pictures of white dresses, expensive cakes, and flower arrangements. The hidden folder with the stolen blueprints was completely gone. Vanessa had activated a wipe command the second she pulled it out. Maya's stomach dropped to the floor. She deleted it, Maya whispered in horror. She erased the evidence. Liam turned to face Maya. His gray eyes were like dark, freezing storm clouds. The quiet connection they had shared in the dark office was entirely dead. The anger radiating from him was absolute. Liam, you have to believe me, Maya begged. Her voice broke. Tears finally spilled over her eyelashes. She is lying to you about everything. Stop talking. Liam roared. His deep voice shook the glass walls of the office. Maya flinched violently. The man she loved, the man she had pulled from a burning wreck, was looking at her with pure, heavy disgust. Vanessa pulled me out of a burning car, Liam snarled, taking a threatening step toward Maya. She risked her life for me. She gave me my future back. And what are you? You are a deceitful opportunist. Maya gasped. The words cut deeper than any knife. You are nothing but a jealous, pathetic liar, Liam continued mercilessly. His voice was laced with pure poison. You thought you could invent a crazy story to ruin my fiancé and steal my company's secrets at the same time. Maya could not breathe. She thought of the roaring fire. She thought of the boiling water burning her scarred arm. She thought of his cruel mother, Eleanor, threatening to cut off the money that kept her little brother alive. It was too much. The weight of the world finally crushed her. I thought you were a good person, Maya, Liam said coldly. His face was a mask of stone. You are fired. Pack your things immediately. If I ever see you near my building or my fiancé again, I will personally ruin your career. You will never work in this city again. Maya stood perfectly still. The fight completely drained out of her body. She was empty. Vanessa had won. Eleanor had won. She did not cry out. She did not argue anymore. She simply reached into the pocket of her skirt, pulled out her plastic company keycard, and placed it gently on the glass desk. "Goodbye, Mr. Sterling," Maya whispered. She turned around and walked to the elevator. She didn't look back. She rode down to the lobby, walked out of the towering glass building, and stepped straight into a freezing, heavy rainstorm. The cold water soaked her hair and clothes instantly, but she didn't care. She was entirely numb. Back on the 42nd floor, a heavy, suffocating silence settled over the office. Vanessa had gone to the executive washroom to fix her makeup. Liam was completely alone. He walked slowly back into his private office. His chest was heaving with leftover adrenaline. He rubbed his tired face with both hands. He felt angry, but he also felt entirely sick to his stomach. Firing Maya felt like tearing out a piece of his own chest. He walked around his large oak desk to sit down. Right in the center of his desk, sitting perfectly straight on top of his black leather blotter, was a crisp, white envelope. It had his name written on the front in Maya's neat, familiar handwriting. Liam frowned. He reached out and picked it up. He broke the seal and pulled out a single sheet of paper. It was a formal letter of resignation. Liam's eyes quickly scanned the printed words. Maya was giving her 2 weeks' notice. She stated that she was moving far away from the city to focus on taking care of her sick brother. At the very bottom of the page, she had written a personal note in blue ink. "It has been the greatest honor of my life to work by your side, Liam. I wish you and Vanessa a beautiful wedding and a lifetime of true happiness." Liam froze. He looked up at the date typed at the very top of the page. It was dated and signed yesterday morning. Liam stopped breathing. The white paper began to shake violently in his hands. His mind raced. If Maya was a greedy, jealous thief trying to steal his company's secrets today, why did she peacefully resign yesterday? Why would a bitter, deceitful opportunist write a letter wishing him a lifetime of true happiness with another woman? A terrible, heavy-sinking feeling dropped like a massive stone into the very bottom of Liam's chest. He had made a massive mistake. Would you like me to write the final episode, where Liam discovers the truth and races to stop Maya before she leaves the city forever? 2 weeks passed like a slow, painful funeral. It was the night of the rehearsal dinner. The massive ballroom of the hotel was filled with laughing people, expensive champagne, and bright lights. Liam stood alone in the corner, holding a glass of water he hadn't tasted. He was completely miserable. He wore a perfect black tuxedo, but inside he felt empty. His company was safe. The wedding was tomorrow. But he could not stop thinking about Maya. He missed her quiet voice. He missed the deep, steady calm she brought to his chaotic life. Suddenly, his phone vibrated in his pocket. It was Marcus, the head of the IT department. Liam stepped out into a quiet, carpeted hallway and answered. "Marcus, I am at my dinner." "Sir, you need to hear this," Marcus said quickly. He sounded completely out of breath. "I was doing a final security sweep on the network logs from 2 weeks ago. The day you fired Maya." Liam's chest tightened. "What about it?" "Maya didn't steal the Project Apex blueprints, Mr. Sterling. She saved them." The hallway spun around Liam. He leaned against the wall. "Explain." "Someone triggered a massive external download from an outside IP address. They were trying to pull the entire confidential folder off our server. Maya didn't copy the files to steal them. She manually triggered an emergency firewall lockdown from her desk to stop the hack. And sir, the IP address trying to steal the files belonged to Vanessa Kensington's personal laptop." Liam stopped breathing. The phone slipped slightly in his sweaty hand. Maya had told the exact truth. Vanessa was the spy. Maya had sacrificed her own job and faced his terrible anger just to protect his life's work. "Thank you, Marcus," Liam whispered. He hung up the phone. A hot, violent wave of pure anger washed over him. He shoved his phone into his pocket and marched back into the ballroom. He found Vanessa laughing with her rich friends near the ice sculpture. He grabbed her arm. His grip was tight and unforgiving. "Liam, you're hurting me," Vanessa gasped, her perfect smile dropping. "We need to talk. Right now." He dragged her into a small, empty private dining room and locked the heavy wooden door behind them. The loud music from the party was instantly cut off. "What is wrong with you?" Vanessa snapped, rubbing her arm angrily. "We have guests." Liam stared at her. His gray eyes were like cold daggers. Tell me about the night of the crash. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Darling, really? We have talked about this a million times. Tell me, Liam growled. He stepped so close that Vanessa bumped into the wall behind her. You pulled me out, right? Describe the inside of the car. What color was the dashboard? Where was my briefcase? Vanessa's confident face shattered. Pure panic flooded her eyes. It was 3 years ago, Liam. It was dark. The fire was everywhere. I don't remember. Answer the question, Vanessa. Vanessa swallowed hard. She was trapped. She searched his face for a way out, but found nothing. The dashboard was black. And your briefcase, it was in the back seat. Liam's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. It was the final, undeniable proof. The dashboard of his Aston Martin was custom white leather. And his heavy metal briefcase had been crushed under the steering wheel, pinning his legs. You were never in the car, Liam whispered. His voice was filled with a terrifying, cold disgust. You didn't save me. Vanessa started to shake. Liam, please. Where did you get the silver locket? Liam shouted. He slammed his hand against the wall next to her head. Tell me the truth, or I swear I will have you arrested for corporate espionage right now. Vanessa broke. Real tears spilled down her face, ruining her makeup. She covered her mouth, sobbing wildly. Eleanor, it was your mother. Liam froze. All the air left his lungs. What? She gave me the necklace. Vanessa cried, sliding down the wall to sit on the floor. She found the poor girl on the road. The girl with the burned arm. Your mother paid me to wear the locket. She paid me to sell the story. She said you needed a hero from a good family to protect your image, not a scarred, poor assistant. Liam stumbled backward. He felt physically sick. His own mother had built this massive, twisted lie. She had stolen the truth. She had paid Vanessa to steal his heart, and he had blindly, stupidly gone along with it. He thought of Maya. He thought of her terrible burn scars. She had traded her own skin to save him. She had suffered in silence every single day, and he had called her a jealous liar. He had fired her. He had broken her heart. Liam didn't say another word. He unlocked the door and walked out. He stormed straight through the crowded ballroom. His mother stood near the exit, smiling with a glass of wine. Liam, darling, where are you going? Eleanor asked, her smile fading as she saw his face. Liam looked at his mother with absolute hatred. You disgust me. The wedding is over. He walked out of the hotel, ignoring the shocked gasps of the guests. He ran to his car, threw his tuxedo jacket into the passenger seat, and started the engine. He peeled out of the parking lot, his tires screaming against the wet asphalt. He drove like a madman into the dark, rainy night. He knew Maya's address from her old employee file. He drove across the city, his heart hammering with a desperate, crushing guilt. He had to fix this. He had to drop to his knees and beg for her forgiveness. He slammed on the brakes outside a small, run-down apartment building. He ran up 3 flights of stairs in the freezing rain. He found door number 4B and pounded on the wood with his fist. Maya! Maya, please open the door! He yelled over the sound of the storm. The lock clicked. The door slowly swung open. But it wasn't Maya. It was a young woman in pajamas. It was Maya's roommate. She looked at Liam's soaked white shirt and desperate face. Recognition flashed in her eyes, quickly followed by pure, burning anger. I need to see Maya, Liam begged, breathing heavily. Please. The roommate looked at him with absolute disgust. She crossed her arms tight against her chest. You're Liam Sterling, she said bitterly. You're a monster. I know I am, Liam choked out. I know everything now. Just let me talk to her. The roommate shook her head slowly. Her eyes were red from crying. You're too late, she whispered. She isn't here. She's at the hospital. The sliding glass doors of the city hospital flew open. Liam ran inside. His expensive black tuxedo was completely soaked with freezing rain. His chest heaved as he gasped for air. He ignored the shocked looks of the nurses and sprinted down the bright white hallways. The roommate's words echoed violently in his head. She is at the hospital. He pictured the worst. He thought she was hurt. He thought the stress and his cruel words had finally broken her. He turned the corner into the intensive care waiting room and stopped dead in his tracks. Maya was sitting in a cheap plastic chair. She was wearing a worn-out gray sweater. She looked incredibly tired, but she was entirely safe. A doctor in blue scrubs was standing over her, smiling warmly and patting her shoulder. Liam slowly walked forward. His legs felt like lead. Maya thanked the doctor. As the doctor walked away, Maya turned her head and saw Liam. Her brown eyes went wide with shock. Then the shock instantly turned into a hard, defensive wall. She stood up quickly, crossing her arms over her chest. "What are you doing here?" Maya asked. Her voice was cold and entirely guarded. "You fired me, Mr. Sterling. You promised to ruin my life if you ever saw me again. Did you come to finish the job?" Liam did not speak. He walked right up to her. And right there, in the middle of the bright, dirty hospital waiting room, the proud, untouchable billionaire dropped straight to his knees. Maya gasped and took a step back. "Liam, get up. What are you doing?" "I know," Liam whispered. His voice broke completely. He looked up at her, ignoring the tears mixing with the rain on his face. "I know everything, Maya. I know about the fire. I know Vanessa lied. I know she tried to steal my company, and you stopped her." Maya froze. Her hands fell to her sides. She stared down at him, her heart beating wildly. "I know what my mother did to you," Liam choked out, his chest shaking. "I know she blackmailed you and threatened your little brother. I am so sorry. I am so deeply, terribly sorry." Maya looked away. Her eyes filled with hot tears, but she refused to let them fall. She was exhausted. "My brother just finished a 10-hour heart surgery," Maya said quietly. Her voice was raw. "He is going to live. But knowing the truth does not erase what you did to me, Liam. It does not erase the terrible things you called me. I saved your life, and you treated me like trash. I don't want a billionaire's pity." "It is not pity," Liam said fiercely. He stayed on his knees. "I was a blind, stupid fool. But I promise you, I will never let anyone hurt you again." Liam reached into his wet tuxedo jacket and pulled out a thick stack of folded legal papers. He held them up to her. "I didn't just come here to apologize with empty words," Liam said. "On the drive over, I called my legal team. I legally destroyed my mother's control over the family trust. She is completely cut off. She can never touch my money or the company again." Maya looked at the papers in shock. "Liam." "And this," Liam said, pointing to the second page, "is an ironclad, permanent medical trust in your brother's name. It is fully funded. His hospital bills, his treatments, his college. Everything is paid for. Forever. With absolutely zero strings attached. Even if you tell me to walk out of this hospital and never speak to you again, your brother is safe." Maya covered her mouth with both hands. A loud sob finally escaped her lips. The heavy, terrifying weight she had carried for 3 years suddenly vanished. Her brother was safe. She was finally free. Liam slowly stood up. He reached into his pocket one last time. He pulled out the silver teardrop locket. He gently took Maya's shaking hands and placed the locket into her palm. "I was so angry today," Liam whispered, looking deep into her crying eyes. "Not just because I was lied to. I was angry because for the last 2 years, I have been falling in love with my quiet, brilliant, beautiful assistant. I fought my feelings because I thought I owed my life to Vanessa. But it was you. It was always you." Maya stared at the silver locket. Then, she looked up at the man she had pulled from the flames. The cold, bossy executive was gone. He was completely vulnerable, offering her his entire heart. Maya finally dropped her guard. She let the thick walls around her heart crumble. She stepped forward and threw her arms around his neck. Liam let out a breath he felt like he had been holding for 3 years. He wrapped his strong arms around her waist, pulling her flush against his chest. He leaned down and kissed her. It was a passionate, desperate, deeply emotional kiss. It was the spark from the dark office turning into a bright, beautiful fire. Maya kissed him back with everything she had, her tears tasting like salt and pure relief. 6 months later, the morning sun poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Sterling Enterprises penthouse. The heavy oak doors of the CEO's office swung open. Maya walked in. She was not carrying coffee. She was not holding a schedule. She wore a stunning, perfectly tailored charcoal suit. The sleeves of her jacket were rolled up to her elbows, proudly displaying her burned scars for the entire world to see. She wore them like a badge of honor. The silver locket rested beautifully against her chest. Liam sat behind his massive glass desk. He looked up from his computer and smiled. His gray eyes were completely warm and full of deep, unending love. "Good morning, partner," Liam said softly. Maya smiled back, walking around the desk to lean down and kiss him. "Good morning, Liam," she whispered. She was no longer the invisible assistant. She was exactly where she belonged. Thank you all for watching to the end. Please stay tuned for more interesting stories like this. Please do well to comment where you're watching from and what you love about this story.